things, and here we go. Here we go with it. I'm going to jump a little bit. I'm going to go down to verse 32 of that same chapter. Read a little bit of Scripture to you here. Verse 32 of John 11 says, Then when Mary was come where Jesus was, and saw him, she fell down at his feet, saying unto him, Lord, if thou hadst been here, my brother had not died. When Jesus therefore saw her weeping, and the Jews also weeping, which came with her, he groaned in the spirit, and was troubled, and said, Where have ye laid him? They said unto him, Lord, come and see. Jesus wept. Then said the Jews, Behold, how he loved him. And some of them said, Could not this man which opened the eyes of the blind have caused that even this man should not have died? Jesus therefore again, groaning in himself, cometh to the grave. It was a cave, and a stone lay upon it. Jesus said, Take ye away the stone. Martha, the sister of him that was dead, saith unto him, Lord, by this time he stinketh, for he hath been dead 4 days. Jesus saith unto her, Said I not unto thee, that if thou wouldest believest, thou shouldest see the glory of God? When they took away the stone from the place where the dead was laid, and Jesus lifted up his eyes, and said, Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me. I knew that thou hearest me always. But because the people which stand by, I said it, that they may believe that thou hast sent me. And when he thus had spoken, he cried with a loud voice, Lazarus, come forth. And he that was dead came forth, bound hand and foot with grave clothes, and his face was bound about with a napkin. Jesus saith unto them, Loose him, and let him go. Why do you think that whenever Jesus seen all these people crying and was saying, if you was here and all this, that Lazarus wasn't dead, why do you think that Jesus groaned and was troubled in his spirit? Why do you think that Jesus wept over a man that he knew was going to be raised? It wasn't because, he was crying over him dead, even though people assumed and took hold of all this. Once again, they didn't get it all. They just got part of it. They didn't get all of it. And then they began to talk about the other things and how if he had just been here, he could have saved him. And he groaned again. You want to know why? It's the same thing I think he's saying to us tonight. Why do you doubt me and what I'm capable of? Why do you doubt me? And nothing's impossible with me. If thou believest, he said, if thou believest, you'll see the glory of God. If thou will believest, you'll see these things, what he said. But he groaned because he knew that the people, why are you being children? I hear children speaking is what he's saying. I hear you children. You're children and you only get part of it. Until you get all of it, guess what? You're going to be in a clouded vision. You're not going to be able to see it. I'm going to raise this man from the dead, but you still ain't going to get it. That there ain't nothing impossible for me. I'm the Son of God. I can do anything. I can do whatever. There ain't nothing can stop me. Even a man dead 4 days. And you know, one of the greatest things that I'd seen a vision, and I can't wait till it happens, an embalmed body in a casket rise. And people are going to be blown away. Rise! And he'll rise from the dead. If thou believest, nothing's impossible. And that's what he groaned in his spirit about. And he kept telling them just before, and we're going to go back to this part, if you believe, there's nothing impossible. My disciples were only hearing part, and here they are all messed up, and here you all are hearing part, and you're all messed up, and you're not getting the vision, you're not grabbing a hold of the truth, and you're not believing in me, and you're not grabbing a hold of me. You're not grabbing a hold of what I'm capable of. And you're limiting me in what I can do. Because you do not get the Word. You're only getting part of it. And you need it all. You need it all deep down in. And you need precept upon precept. You need line upon line. You need here a little, there a little. Or you're not going to be able to get that sunk down in your heart to know when that enemy comes under a sneak attack and hits you full force, that you're going to know what to do, how to put him in his place. Instead of fighting to hold on, you're going to fight back. And you're going to put him in his place. And you're making Jesus groan today because we're doubting and we're not believing really in him, because we're doubting this vision. We're doubting what he's capable of because we're paying attention to what we see. We're paying attention to the problems around us and all the enemies that he clearly told us was going to happen. 40 days before Easter, he said there are going to be many enemies come at you. Many. Have they not been? Have they not been powerful enemies come at you? And some look impossible to you. That it seems like you ain't able to do it. You ain't able to go. You ain't able to do anything. And Jesus is groaning right now in His Spirit, I believe, saying, when are you going to believe me? When are you going to grab hold of all of this and quit letting part of it go and let part of this go and part of this situation and grab a hold of all of it and believe in me? And take this vision where it needs to go and run with faith with me. You can't even grab a hold of it. Because ask yourself, have you really ever taken a message preached home with you and studied it like the press does with the president? And you wonder why you only get in part. You wonder. And it'll be up to you what you want to do with what God's telling you to. If you really want this, if you really want life, you want life more abundantly. You want the fruits of the Spirit. You want to see the powers of God. You want to see this vision come true. Part of it ain't going to cut it. Because you're making him groan. We can't be a Moses and keep making excuses why we can't. We can't keep doubting God whenever He's chosen and pulled us out and said, you're going to be the one. Because we're in the same boat. I was studying that last night while I was at the hospital at 3 o'clock in the morning with my dad. With him sick. I was studying Moses and looking at that saying, you know, we're the same group of people. That was one man, but we're going to be the same group of people that's sent to save God's people. To save them out of bondage. But we got to get ourselves out of bondage first. Because you're captive. You better admit that. You're not free. Be truthful to God. Are you really free? Are you really only getting part of what's being said? And taking that part and then begin to doubt it and saying, well, why does Shane want this? I've done had that many times. Well, why does Shane want to do this? Did you ever think that maybe God's talking to Shane? And telling Shane these things? I can't come up with this stuff, people. I can't. I can't come up with only 12's going to survive. I can't come up with that. I can't. And 2 years before it ever happened, it was said. I can't come up with that. Don't never look to me, look to God. It's Him. I'm just a little servant, and I'm thankful to be chosen. And I've got many enemies over it. And I'll have many more. But if I don't learn to fight now, they're going to take me out. My enemies will take me out, people. And that's why Jesus is groaning. You're letting the enemies take you out. You're letting the enemies tear you down. You're letting the things break you down because you only see in part. You only got part of it because you've only understood part of it. You've only grabbed part of it. And if you want to grab this, if you want to get understanding, start taking this stuff home. You may not have time tonight, but sometime before you come back, study what God is saying until you understand it. The Spirit will give you understanding about it. He'll give you clear understanding about it. Hey, God has brought a lot of stuff to us in the last 3 years. And I know some of you's missed some of it. And some of you have sat under it and didn't get some of it. because you got part of it.